What's going on, everyone? The Los Angeles Lakers got a great team win and an absolute dominant performance by LeBron James. I mean, even LeBron James kind of teased, hey, I've been putting up 30 and we're not winning, so I figured, let me put up 40. It's simple math and we get the win, which I thought was kind of, just fun, playful, a little jab. Now, obviously, LeBron has expressed his issues and expressed his frustrations throughout this season, and just especially recently, kind of signaling to the organization, hey man, you guys need to make a trade, you guys need to do something. I'm still playing at an elite level. He goes out, he puts pen to paper, so to speak, gets out there, puts up a 40 piece, and just absolutely just dominated, right? That was in many ways vintage LeBron, because it wasn't even just that he put up 47. It was that he also controlled the game very well, and that's something that I've talked about heavily this year in live streams and various videos, that LeBron just hasn't really seemed to be able to control games like he once could, right? Even last season, he wasn't really controlling games, but that game against Atlanta, it's like he knew. It's like when you watch LeBron control games, it's like he knows the next 5 plays that are going to happen, and he plans accordingly for those 5 plays almost. I don't know how else to explain it without being in his head, but that's kind of what it seems like, right? And he knows, okay, I got to get a quick bucket here because this is going to happen. Let me, slow it down here. And, and just kind of the game flows through him for both teams. And we haven't really seen that. But we saw that against Atlanta, right? He really controlled the pace in many ways. He'd push it fast and go get an easy bucket. He'd slow it down and get a nice play. It also helped that other guys were stepping up. Thomas Bryant, 19 and 17, that really helped as well. But it was just a good, solid win nonetheless. And hopefully guys can continue to step up and continue to play great. You had all of your primary ball handlers just shy of double-digit assists, except for Russ. Russ had 11. You had LeBron with 9. And then you had Dennis Schroeder with 9. That's what you need to see. You need your primary ball handlers going and getting you not only buckets, but consistently getting you assists. Obviously, guys got to hit shots. That's how assists work. But nonetheless, it was a great effort just across the board. And everyone really chipped in. We had 6 guys, I believe, in double figures. That's what you need to get solid wins like this. Atlanta, yes, they're struggling, but they're still a solid team. They're still a team that easily could have won this game. This is a team that, we went into their home court and walked away with a win. And the last game of the year before we go into the new year. And hopefully this will be a nice way to kind of, take in the new year, but also maybe get some momentum going, right? We got good news that Anthony Davis is returning. Anthony Davis is supposed to come back at some point, I'd imagine mid-January, but maybe even sooner. Davis recently gave some information. He didn't give a direct timeline to when he'll be back exactly, but he did give us a clue that he is heading in the right direction, in a positive direction. And he is putting himself, in position to return. And once he does return, then that just makes things so much easier for us. And again, if we can go on a nice little run, build some momentum, AD comes back, maybe we can continue that, because AD being back, period, beyond just what he does for us on the basketball court on both sides of the ball, just getting him back will add confidence to everybody and add confidence to guys. And then maybe we can continue that run. We're still not that far out of the play-in, and even the playoffs. We're about 5 games out of the playoffs, about 3 games out of the play-in. So I see so many comments of people that are the season's over. We still have a long way to go. And the beauty is our next game is against the Hornets. We have to win that game. We should have won the first game against the Hornets. We didn't. The LeBron shoegate, right, where he loses the shoe. But regardless, that's a matchup that we can win and we should win. And if we can go get that W and get that win, now you got not only do you got the last win of the previous year, you got the first win of the new year, and you got a 2-game win streak, and you can keep just kind of building that momentum, keep building that team. Defensively, we're still not very good. And Anthony Davis helps make up for a lot of just the lack of defense that we have. But still, it's something that we need to pick up. We need to defend better. Our next handful of games are against Charlotte, Miami, and Atlanta. All 3 of those games, again, I think are winnable. And then we go and play Sacramento, which, again, Sacramento's been tough. They've been solid, but I think that's a winnable game, even without AD. I think our next 4 games are very winnable. I think you go win the Charlotte game. If you can beat Miami, which I believe they can, you beat Miami at home. You got Atlanta at home. If you can beat both of them at home, now all of a sudden you got a 4-game win streak, and now we might be like a game or out of the play-in, or maybe even 2 games out of the playoffs. Yeah, I mean, obviously you need other teams to lose as well, but still, you're riding that momentum. You go on a 4 or 5 game win streak. You beat Sacramento. I mean, you're there. And then you got Denver, Dallas, and Philly. That's a tough stretch right there. But after that stretch, you'd imagine that Anthony Davis would be there. Maybe he even returns for that Philly game or that Dallas game. That would be wonderful, especially if you had, a 5-game win streak or 4-game win streak going into those stretches of games against Denver. Say Denver, we beat them twice. Maybe we could beat them again. And last time we beat them when Davis got hurt. So, maybe you squeeze that win out. But let's say you lose that game. Okay, you're 4-1 in your last 5, and then you go face Dallas. Maybe AD comes back. You can get that win at home, and then Philly at home. I mean, you're there. It's not far-fetched. It's not something that just sounds completely unbelievable, and it's like there's no way. Like, how does that? It's not, like, this is something that is achievable for the Lakers. This is something that I could absolutely see the Lakers getting done. And, Russ has stepped up. Russ has looked good. Guys are stepping up. Reeves has had a terrible stretch the last few games. I imagine he picks that up at some point, and that would be huge. We didn't have Walker last game. If he comes back, that could be huge. And the game before that, he put up a goose egg. So if Walker and Reeves, who I believe can continue to be good and be promising, I think we'll be okay. And then get the return of Anthony Davis while riding a run, riding some momentum, and if Davis can, whatever you got to do, if you got to play him at the 4, continue him at the 5, whatever. If we can get into like the play-in spot or a game or so outside of the play-in spot going into like mid-January, I think that's huge. I think we can really go on a run here and go put ourselves in a position to maybe even catch a playoff spot. And if we could catch a playoff spot, then I think we're good. Even if you just look at the teams right now, right? The teams right now ahead of the Lakers. You got the Thunder, you got the Timberwolves, you got the Jazz, you got the Blazers, you got the Warriors, and the Suns. That's the 7 through 13, right? I think the Lakers are better than the Thunder. I think they're better than the Timberwolves. That's just me. I think they're better than Utah. I think Utah started to come down to reality. They had a really hot start. The Lakers caught them during that hot start. But I think that the Lakers are better than Utah. I think they're better than Portland. We should have beaten Portland when we were struggling and just a terrible team. I think we're better than Portland. The Warriors and the Suns are going to come down to, how are their stars? Like, does Steph Curry come back? Does, Devin Booker come back in enough time to where, these teams can stay afloat? The Suns, especially. The Suns are already on a 2-game losing streak. They're sinking ship fast. I mean, look, even if we don't squeeze into play, even if we don't get that 6th seed, right? If we get a play-in spot, if we can squeeze into the 7th or 8th seed, I really believe the Lakers can win 1 game with Anthony Davis and LeBron James. Not even mentioning if we get a trade done. If the Lakers are in a play-in spot, I imagine they probably do a trade, but you got to get there, right? And if we get there, as long as we're in the 7 to 8 seed, to where we only have to win 1 game, I really believe the Lakers can win 1 game, and I really believe the Lakers can make some noise. I'm not saying that they're a contender or anything, but you still have LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And then you have Russell Westbrook coming off the bench. And we know Russ in the playoffs really amps up that intensity. And he's a guy that you could just run on the back of, and him and his chemistry with AD, with the other bigs, his playmaking, I think, is going to be really huge. Obviously, I'd like to get some defenders. If you end up trading Russ, you trade Russ. I don't want them to just give Russ away, but, if you get a good package, we'll see what happens with the Hornets. Speaking of the Hornets, but, you got these 3 guys, got your big 3, you got LeBron James and Anthony Davis in the playoffs, right? And the last time they were in the playoffs, you can make an argument that they should have won the championship if AD didn't go down. They were playing against the Suns. Suns made it to the NBA Finals, right? So you'd imagine if the Lakers beat the Suns, they probably make it to the NBA Finals. And the Lakers are up 2-1. They look like they're going up 3-1. And all of a sudden, the wheels fall off. Anthony Davis gets hurt, and then the rest is history. So nobody, like Draymond Green, nobody's beaten LeBron James and Anthony Davis healthy in the playoffs. So again, they got to get to the playoffs first, of course. But so far, nobody's beaten them in the playoffs. So and there's not a single team in the West that I look at and go, man, there is no way the Lakers stand a chance against those teams. None of them. Not one of them. Like, I look at the teams. I'm not worried. Like, right now, the playoff teams are the Pelicans. Pelicans, yeah, they could be a tough matchup, but I think they're inexperienced. I think the Lakers could get that done. Denver, we seem to just always have Denver's number. Not worried about Denver. Grizzlies, I still think are too young, and they need to kind of continue to grind and work their way. The Kings, I think we could beat the Kings in a 7-game series. Mavericks are too Luka-centric. I think, Luka has to have monster games in order for them to do anything. I'm not worried about them. The Clippers, healthy Paul George, healthy Kawhi Leonard, plus the Clippers have kind of had our number the last, few years. So that kind of worrisome, but again, I'm not like, there's no way. And then the Suns, look, Anthony Davis eats the Suns alive every game. Every game. And last time we played them in the playoffs, we should have won. And this is the same team that we played. So I do. No matter how you shake it, I like where we are. Are we a contender? I don't think so. But, we get into a play-in spot, you make a move or two, you get some solid pieces that could really help come playoff time. I think we're there. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think the Lakers can make the playoffs? Do you think they won't? Are you excited for the new year? Kind of new, fresh start? Like Darvin Ham even said, take this into the new year and build on it. And that's what I hope the Lakers do. But again, love to hear your thoughts and opinions. Let me know.